Iko Nini. So nili have a very interesting weekend. Na nili have this interesting weekend because nimekam kurealize kitu moja. Wasa wamesikiza Iko Nini for long enough wanajuaga. One thing ni I'm a tech nerd, like napenda tech kabisa. But another thing ni so napendaga hizo home appliances, unajua. So that's me. But kikam to stories za Mandai, it's something that I've always treated as kitu inani move from point A to point B. But I think kwa late last year, just ira ya moja naitwa Kibe, I'll be honest. Vile tuli invite Kibe hapa kwa podcast, yende libaki ameplant the seed ya kufanya nitake kuchukua Ndai. So of course, I think tulikuwa na Kibe, was early November, then by late November nilikuwa nachukua Ndai. Alafu in the process nilikuwa nimesahau stories za Ndai mob sana. Apart from that pia zile Ndai zingine nilikuwa nazo hazikuwa high maintenance. So this is the first time that nikaamua kuchukua kitu high maintenance. So what happens, the first day nishaichukua kutoka kwa yard, alafu kichukuaga unaambiwa peleka gari service. Alafu nikaipeleka service. So the first thing kutaka kujua vile nilikuwa na act kama madam mzee ni tulienda kwa duka fulani Masaiza Coast ya muindi fulani. So muindi akauliza gari ni gani, akaambiwa gari ni hivi, engine ni gani, ni hivi. Akasema sawa, hiyo engine inahitaji hizi vibuyu mbili za synthetic oil, sawa, engine oil. New time of course niko excited, so I didn't think about it. So what happens, chukua hizo vibuyu tukapeleka, tukaenda kwa petrol station. I guess now in hindsight, after noticing that hizi ni vitu zinazopatikana kwa petrol station, in hindsight I'm there wondering like why didn't we buy them at the petrol station. But that's not the whole story, ama that's not the reason why inapatia na hii story. Hii inakupatia tu as a precaution. Ukiplan kubuy Ndai, tumia Google, otherwise unaweza lia. Because what happens, tukapeleka vibuyu mbili, this is 8 liters of engine oil. Kapatiana, I'm excited, just I think your time nilikuwa na njaa. So hii time gari na change your oil, nikaambia boy fulani, ule boy tulikuwa na yeye, tuingie kwa Ndai nifikishe kwa super. Nikaenda kwa super, nikaget bitings nini. By time narudi, gari shaset your oil. Hii time sijui that hii gari unza check even the oil level ya engine. Mi tu kile nilipewa ni kulikuwa some oil imebaki kidogo, I think like 1 liter ya engine oil. Mi nikaiseti tu kwa boot, alafu ikakuwa sasa the next day tunarudi Nairobi. So kumbuka, that was 8 liters of engine oil, nimepatiwa around 1 liter of engine oil. So how many liters do you think were put into that car? 7 liters. I didn't know anything about how many liters should be put in the car. Mistake number 1. Fast forward, ilikuwa ni February, early Feb. Yes, should be early Feb. Ni when tuli interview Boni, either early Feb or late January. But hey, ile siku tuna interview Boni. So tunaenda kuinterview Boni. Maybe Ian, alafu my nephew is in the car. Tumeshika barabara, tunaishia masaid za Lukenya. What happens, napata message kwa nini that critical engine oil critically low, add at least 1 liter. And I'm like, damn, add at least 1 liter. Then nikicheck, kwa sasa hii time sasa nishaanza kulearn kutumia hii Ndai. So nimeenda kuangalia ile dashboard, naona engine oil inanionyesha iko minimum. I add 1 liter, ikakubali, but the level never changed. I was like, what has happened? So this is after, of course, sasa ni after nimerudi kutoka kwa Boni, kwa sababu ameniambia add this in less than 200 kilometers. Usimove more than 200 kilometers before adding oil. So mimi na ujinga wangu nika add 2 oil. So kumbuka tulikuwa at 7 liters. How many liters are we right now at? We are at 8. But we live in the era of technology and information. So kumbuka ile liter moja ile baki kwa Ndai, that's the liter that I ended up adding in the car. But then something told me, Google, like how much, remember uli add oil ukiwa Mombasa, kwa nini gari na need oil? Nikienda kuangalia naona kwa ile nini imeandikwa hii gari inafaa kuchukua 5.2 to 5.3 liters of oil. So itakuwa inanitishaje oil ingine? But I was like, okay, maybe mimi ndio niliassume by vibuyu mbili, but maybe leo kwa kibuyu moja. But kumbuka, after kuadi lita moja, the nini never changed. The level oil never changed. So what happens? I drive the car, I think for another 1 week, and then I found critical oil level low. This time I'm like, there has to be a problem. Hii gari, I think nafaa kuipeleka kwa service station. We just pour out the whole oil and check, cause kwani how little was the oil that was put. And but still just decided nikienda kwa Google wasaniambia zi history ya nini hii gari kuitisha oil, it's a normal thing, so you just add your 1 liter. I added another liter, so kumbuka now we at 9 liters of oil. But what happens, that scale never changes. But another thing happens, no message about adding oil. It stays kabisa till weekend. Hii weekend kuna beste yangu anaitwa Calvin, unajua Calvin Wangoko, kwa unamjua, na kuaga former radio presenter and is also podcaster, fanyaga podcast na Jimani. So alikuwa ameniambia like since umebuy Hyundai you need to change your spark plugs. So nikatuma like one of the Iko Nini fans amsaitwa Mato kitoka majuu, nikamwambia like iko nene nilete hizo za majuu. So kanilete spark plugs, of course ni juu ni more affordable there, not because of anything, but so kazileta, alafu I never change them immediately. So hii weekend nikamwacha nisichange. So nikizichange nikaanza kubonga na kosa mechanic wa nani wa Calvo, kosa amekuwa kidili na mandai za Calvo zote. So and Calvo ndai zake zinakaga top notch kabisa, zinakaga ziko well maintained. So the process ngamwambia like buda jo, hii kitu nimekuwa nikiadd oil na hii scale I change. Kaniambia haifai kuwa happen hivyo. So wacha tucheki, cause kaina kuambia hivi haufai kufanya kuiranikiwa minimum, ongeza lita moja. So wacha tuishie tuchukue lita tuongeze. Mimi na ujinga yangu tukaenda cause lita si tukakam tukapoa. Alafu tukasema let's run the engine and see what happens. Engine ika whatever. So kumbuka now we have 10 liters. Kumbuka according to the manufacturer, hii gari haifai kuchukua more than 5.5. So now we are at 10 liters. And the scale doesn't change. Kabio mse sasa kuna shida. Sasa there's a problem. I think there's too much oil in this car and something needs to be checked. So mimi ujinga yangu still decided to drive the car, which is ukienda kwa Google utapata Google msema kweli na kwambia don't drive that car. So I decided to drive the car. Kienda nika drop mse, alafu tukasikizana tutapatana Monday. Alafu nikarudi mtaani. But ule nirudi mtaani nikapark. Kitu kaniambia just Google about this. Alafu kaniambia like pale kwa internet iko like buda jo, kama unataka kubust engine in 2 days endesha na excess oil. So now I get worried because me kichwa yangu inawakigivo like when I have a problem and I need to solve it, I need to solve it. But the guy I'm dealing with is a Christian. He needs to go to church on Sunday. So don't call mesikiza na Monday. But on Sunday I call him and I ask him, why are you going to church? You're going to pray to God. So God does what gives you money. I'm giving you an opportunity to make money. But we need to solve this thing. So what we need to do is we need to drain this car and find out if it's taking excess oil. So I can't move the car right now because according to Google, this car should not be moving with excess oil. So you just show up. So mseka akaniambia ata show up after church. And church yake kwa nafaa kuisha I think around 2. But he ended up showing up at 5. So at 5 what do we do? Akakuja and akaingia chini ya ndai, akadrain the oil. Kudrain the oil ilikuwa so much. We find out that I think ilikuwa mob kabisa kwa ndot. We look at it, we're like this is more than 5 liters. So this car has been running on extra oil. We measure and we find out to could make 10 liters of oil. That's how we discovered. And we decide now let's put back because the oil is not that old. Kumbuka kuna oil ya jana na oil ingine yote nimekuwa na Hyundai for around 2.5 months, so I've just done maybe 2500 kilometers with the new oil. So we decide to put back the right capacity, which is 5.2 liters. Kumbuka when it was 11 liters ilikuwa inatuonyesha haina oil, iko at minimum. Tukiweka 5.2 it shows it's at maximum. So at some point I thought the oil sensor was bad. Yes, so I'd even told beste yangu that ukitoka US mato, nilikuwa namwambia, I think hata nilikuwa namwambia like nichekie bei ya oil sensor because I need to change the oil sensor. Then I find out that we've been putting excess oil. So you might be wondering, why am I telling you this story? We've been putting excess oil because when the car was bought, the first person who deal nayo ali put excess oil. When this car was kwangu, it was a few minutes old, ama a few hours, ama maybe 1 hour old. Mse alichukua aliweka excess oil, putting the risk in the engine in danger immediately. So to drive from Mombasa to Nairobi with excess oil. How much excess? 1.7 liters excess. Since oil ilikuwa excess, the sensor was so immersed in the oil that the sensor could not measure the oil. And that's why the sensor kept saying it needed more oil. And me, what did I need to keep doing? Just adding. Why am I telling you this? So that ukinunua ndai, Buddha, tumia tu Google. Uliza Google, hii gari yangu inafaa kuchukua oil inatoshana aje. Then ukidinawasi wa service, una make sure uko hapo and they put the right amount of oil. So nimerani gari with excess oil for 2.5 months, because from the 7 liters to the 9 liters, nimerana 9 liters for a very long time. I don't know if I've destroyed anything. Hopefully I've not. Tukiangalia so far, after tuanishe, look at the dashboard, and the dashboard is saying now the oil is at maximum. Nothing has happened to make me believe I destroyed anything. But this is just a cautionary tale, and it's one of those things ya kukuonyesha how you can end up having something. Because I won't lie to you, I was the sort of person nilikuwa natreat gindai kama kitu ya kuni from point A to point B. But sitakudanganya, this is the one time mufurahiaga tu kwenda pahali, like that thing just feels different. Even talking about that puts a smile on my face, because I was so used to my Toyota Vista. Like me and my Vista tulikuwa na a certain level of understanding, but it was a very practical car. It would move me from point A to point B. But I'm a fala hata wakiji advertise, I think inakogani their tagline inakogani sheer driving pleasure, like you actually enjoy driving it. And I'm there thinking like, all this time I've been risking this thing. And why? Because of ignorance and because of trust. And I'm sure I'm not the first guy, because kushas kiagaso kibonga jua mandayo nakwambia stay away from hizi magari huharibika haraka. But kumbuka, the first person alideal na hiyo ndai aliweka the wrong amount of oil. And mimi, because of the excitement, I never checked that. So I've been moving the wrong way. And ukitaka kujua vile how dangerous it is, like one of the things that nililearn, because kumbuka kuna boy anaitwa Calvo alikuwa ameniambia jua nini. Okay, Calvo pia kuna shindwa. And I talked about the podcast naitwa Mics Are Open. All things that he told me was I need to change the spark plugs. Alafu ukilearn about having excess oil, one of the things that it does, it messes up your spark plugs. Ukiangalia hizi spark plugs zangu zimeisha, zimechomeka kabisa. And one of the reasons kisoma Google msema kweli ni this is a product of pure excess oil can lead to this. Of course the spark plugs were old, so but considering hizi ni vitu za si vitu za domob. But yeah, so yeah, that was my experience, man, as a so-called new car owner. That was scary to find out that the first person that did service put excess oil, and that messed up the oil sensor, because now the oil sensor could not guess how much oil the car had, and the oil sensor just kept asking for more oil, and me, I just kept putting more and more and more. And yeah, I nearly learned the hard way. Hopefully I won't learn the hard way. Hopefully I won't have any regrets. And yeah, that's one of the things. And with that in mind, I think another thing for us to learn is usibelieve in nonsense ya hizi vitu haribika haraka, hizi vitu unapataka ni such small mistakes where the wrong person does the wrong thing. So kila nafikiria nani vile alicheki ndai aliassume either the engine is 3 liter ama aliassume indai ni a higher spec than maybe a shade deal na a different one which was a higher spec and it needed 7 liters. So naturally assumed this other needs 7 liters. So instead of 5.3, he put 7 liters. That was 1.7. And then the whatever oil sensor was like, oh, I've gotten less oil. You need to add me more oil. Na mimi nikaendelea tu kuifeed which was very dangerous. So hopefully hakuna kitu yote will destroy, but damn man, that has been the experience. But yeah, so there's been that, and yeah, hii wiki nafikiria kutafuta msewa jetwa. Kuna mse Iko Nini fan wagana jetwa aniambia anataka kunipatia ride on it, nibaki check how it feels. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but yeah, lazima ningekushtua juu hii story cause vile tunakuaga like if you've been with me on this journey unajuaga like I'm very grateful for that. You made me push myself. So kuna time muaga weird times na shoot vitu kama saa hizo nizashindwa saa ngapi. By the time I'm shooting this it's 5:30 am. If you're wondering why it's 5:30 am, it's because I shot a whole piece about kina Babu Owino na Sifuna, and then I realized microphone imekufa. Hiyo microphone mutumiaga the black one ilikuwa high record like ina whatever, but sound I record, so I'd done like 40 minutes of that, so it really messed up my mind. So I ended up nini, but yes, because of your support I push, stay whatever late, decided let me thank myself, gift myself something I can enjoy, and nearly learned the hard way, because according to Google, that trip from Mombasa to Nairobi was enough to kill that car. So I don't know if I'm lucky. I don't know, man. I guess God works in mysterious ways, and he decided that I needed his blessings. Iko Nini, najua mwaka ni mpya lakini injili ni ile LemFi. So kama uko US, uko UK, uko Canada ama uko the UAE na unataka kutuma do Kenya, baki umechangamka, ingia LemFi, utabaki umepata the most competitive rates. Lakini apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 or more utapata $20 sign up reward. So unangoja nini? Baki umechangamka, chap ingia LemFi. LemFi, international payments for everyone. Iko Nini.